This conference will now be recorded.
And guys, let us start the session. Let me go and open the yesterday's class notepad. Yesterday's class, we started discussing about the components. Yesterday's class, we started discussing about the components. So let me go and open the class notes. Now in yesterday's class, we discussed about what is a component, what is meant by component, and when we need to use these components in Power Apps, and what are the types of components are available. What is this local components? What is this global components? So what is the definition and how to create the local components we discussed here, and what is been this global components, how to create it we discussed, and also we know that what is the differences between the local components and also the global components, and then we discussed some of the advantages. And in the yesterday's class we discussed one of the example, how to create a component, how to use the components in multiple screens of the app, and also we discussed how to create a local and global components. In yesterday's class we discussed about how to create a header component. In yesterday's class we discussed about every screen will have some headers, how to create a header component. Instead of going and manually creating the header in every screen, we'll create a component and we'll make use of those components in multiple screens of the app. And now in today's session, we'll discuss about the components itself. But in this components, now in today's session, that is class 2. In class 2, what we'll discuss here is how to create a pop-up window using components. Let me keep here. Today's class is class 2. In this class, we'll discuss about pop-up component, how to create a pop-up window with the help of components. Pop-up window using components. How to create a pop-up window with the help of components we'll discuss now in today's session. Now see, already we discussed this, how to create a pop-up window, how to create a pop-up window. We discussed already it is. When we discussed this, how to create the pop-ups, when I'm discussing about the gallery, there I discussed about how to create a pop-up window. Let me go and open the Power Apps and let me show you what the pop-up we created in the previous class. When I'm discussing about the galleries, at the time, there we discussed about how to create this pop-up window. Guys. Let me go and open the Power Apps. Let me show you where we create the pop-ups. Have you remember we discussed about pop-ups in the previous classes? Online people,
Yes, sir.
you remember or not? Yes, we discussed about pop-ups. Let me go and open that app now. Now see, when I go to the apps, there is an app called Gallery. When I'm discussing about the gallery, there I discussed about how to create a pop-up window. Let me go and open the app. Let me go and open this app. Fine. Now see, this is the app. In this we are having the multiple screens. One is gallery screen, second one is form screen, success screen. These are three screens we are having. Now see, in the gallery screen, when I click on this delete button, what happens? When I click on this delete icon, what happens? This item is going to be deleted from the data source. Now see, by default, when I click on this button, it will delete. But when I click on this button now, already we discussed this concept. When I click on this button now, it is opening on pop-up. What is that pop-up? It is giving that message, delete record. The title for this pop-up is delete record. Or you want to delete the data, or you want to delete the record? Yes means when I click on the S button, it will delete that record. If I click on no, it won't delete that record. So already we discussed on click of this S button, what the code we are writing, and no button, what's the code we are writing. Same concepts we are going to discuss now also. Same concepts we are going to discuss now also. But here I'm creating the component separately, guys. Let us say when I click on the no button, the record is not going to be deleted. But when I click on this next, let us say ABD employee details is there. When I click on the delete button, it is displaying some message here, pop-up window. When I click on this button, that record is going to be deleted. Now if I click on this button, now see that record ABD employee details is deleted from the gallery. So already we discussed this, how to perform or how to create the pop-up windows. This is one of the pop-up window I created here. So this is the pop-up window I created in the gallery too. Now the same pop-up window I created in the form screen also. In the form screen, on this button, I'm having the same pop-up window. But here I'm creating separately a pop-up window. In the gallery screen also I'm creating a separate pop-up window. But now what we'll do here is, if you go to this form screen also, when I go to the, when I go and select any one of this gallery icon, it will displays that complete details in one form. When I click on the edit button, I'm able to edit the data. For now, I'm not able to edit it. If I want to edit the data, go and click on the edit button. Now it will allow us to edit. Now if I do any changes here, if I do any changes without saving the button or without clicking on the save button, if I go and click on the back button, it will displays one pop-up window. What's that pop-up window here? Unsaved data is the header. The form has unsaved data, or you want to leave the screen? Yes, do you want to leave the screen? Means leave the screen. Click, when I click on yes button, I'm going to leave the screen. Otherwise, if I click on no, I'm able to, in the same screen, now I can go and click on the save button. That record is going to be saved. When I click on the save button, the record will be saved and I'm having the success message. Now you can go to the form screen. That is the gallery screen. So we created two galleries here, guys. Sorry, not a galleries, two pop-ups. One pop-up is in the gallery screen. Another this pop-up is used for what? This pop-up is for delete. And there is another pop-up, and there is another pop-up in the form screen. In the form screen also there is another pop-up. See, this is another pop-up we are having. These are the pop-up controls I'm using. So like this, think that currently in this app I'm having only two screens. I'm having only two screens. Let us say there is an app where you will have the 20 screens. Think that there is an app where it will contains 20 screens is there. In those 20 screens, for 10 screens, for 10 screens, I need to have this pop-up window. I need to create a pop-up window for the 10 screens in an app. There are 20 screens in one app. In those 20 screens, 10 screens, I need to go and build the pop-up. See, if you go and create the pop-up individually, for each pop-up, how many controls I'm using here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 controls. Let us say 10 pop-ups I want to create. 10 into 6, 60 pop-ups. 60 controls, not pop-ups. 60 controls we need to make use of. So if you use the 60 controls just to create the pop-ups, the number of controls will be increases while developing the app. So what I will do, instead of going and creating the pop-up screen for all the 10 screens manually, I'm going to create a component now. I will create a pop-up window with the help of components. If I create a pop-up window in the component, I can reuse that pop-up window which is creating in the by using the components in multiple screens of the app. So already we discussed. If you haven't remember, I will request you go and watch the video where I discussed about this pop-up window. Clearly here I discussed. Now I will show you how to create the same pop-up window by using components and how to use that pop-up component in the multiple screens of the app. We'll discuss now. So I don't want to make any changes in the existing app. I don't want to do any changes in this app. I want to keep it as same. So what I will do, I will just make another copy of the same app. How to make another copy of the same app is, on the top right side you will have the save button, right? Click on this drop down and click on the save as. Click on save as and keep the name as gallery copy or gallery. Let me keep it like this, component, pop-up component. The app name, pop-up underscore component. This is the app name. I'm going to say take another copy of the same app, guys. So how to take it means, go and click on the save as and click on the save button now. When I click on the save button, now see it is saving on the top here. Once it will save, yes, it is saved. Now see, pop-up component is the app name. So what I will do, let me go back, leave the screen. I don't want to disturb the existing app, whatever the gallery app it is. So I will copy it. So this is the existing gallery app. Now I'm making a same copy. What is the name I'm keeping here? Pop-up component. So just go to this, go and edit the app. Now I will show you how to create the same pop-up by using the components, and I will show you how to reuse it. Now what I will do, let me go and remove this pop-up, guys. I'm having one pop-up window here, right? Let me go and remove it. Just right click on it and click on delete. It is manual I am creating. I will show you how to create it by using components. Let me click on delete. And let me go to the form screen also. Right click and delete the pop-up component. Delete it. Fine. Now I don't have any pop-ups here. Now I will need to go and create a pop-up. For first, I need to go and create a pop-up is whenever I click on this button, I don't want to delete the data directly. I want to display one pop-up window whether the user go and delete that record or you don't want to delete the record. Unfortunately, if I click on the button, if you don't have the pop-up, the record will be deleted. I need to take the second confirmation from the user. Are you sure to delete the record? Yes. When I click on yes button, it will delete. If I click on no, the record is not going to be deleted. So in order to go and create it, let me go to the components, click on new component. Let me change the component name as pop-up underscore COMP, pop-up component. Now for this, first of all, what we need to do, go and change the height and width of the pop-up. So how to change the width and pop-up? Go to the first width property. First go to the width property, app dot active screen dot width. What is the need of taking this app dot active screen dot width? If you use this component in any app, whether it is a tablet mode or it is a mobile mode, if you want to automatically adjust the width and height of the component, you need to do these settings here. Next, go to the screen and come back again. Now see automatically the width is as it is, how this screen width is there, same screen width. Next I want to change the height also. So let me go to the height property, go to the height property. Here also change it to app dot active screen dot height. Now go to the screens, come back again to the component. Now see automatically the height is adjusted. So don't forget to change the height and width of the component, guys. Now once after changing the height and width of the component, let me go to the fill color. Let me add some fill color. Let me take this fill color. It's not changing. Okay, let me do it here. Now see here, guys, this is the fill color I'm adding, background color. Now go to the fill, select the fill. Here, make the transparency, make it as transparent 0.3. Transparent. I want to make it as transparent, or let me keep it as 0.5. Let me keep it as 3 itself. 0.3. I want to make it as a transparent. Next, go and add one rectangular box. How you will create the component or how you will create the pop-up in the previous classes, the same thing I will follow here, but I will keep some modifications here. Why? Because I want to make the pop-up as dynamic. So let me go and add one rectangular box. Keep the rectangular box in the middle. Keep the rectangular box in the middle. Just increase some width and height. Just align it properly in the middle. Fine. Now let me change the background color to white. Change the background color to white. And then let me add one control, text control. I want to keep it as a header. Make this control as a header of the pop-up. Increase the width to rectangular width and make it as a bold. Make it as 22. Font size is 22. And change the color. Let me change the text here. What is the text I'm going to keep here is pop-up header. Just I'm keeping some text here, guys. Pop-up header. This is the header for the pop-up. Let me increase somewhat size. I think it is enough. Now let me go and add one more input control, that is text label. Let me add one more text label, and this text label is for the description of the pop-up. Now let me go and change it to 18. Keep it in the bold or semi bold, and let me keep it, align it to center. Now what's the text I want to keep here is, let us say that some dummy text I'm keeping is, let me keep the header body as description, pop-up description, pop-up description is the text I'm keeping for this. Let me adjust it. Let me keep somewhat on the top. Fine. Now let me go and add two buttons now. Let me go and add two buttons now. Let me increase the size to 20. Fine, it looks good. Or let me keep it as 18 itself. Now let me go and add the two buttons, guys. One is yes button, second one is no button. Let me go and add the button. Let me go and add one button. Keep it, but keep the first button here. Reduce some size. Reduce some size. Keep it here. I want to background color, change the background color to green. Change the background color to green, and also change the text to yes. Change the text to yes. And now see, it is not looking like a button now. I want to look, feel as a button. In order to go and feel the look as a button, what I will do here is select the button. Button will have one property called radius. Increase the radius to 20. Now see, you can find that it is acting as like a button now. It acts as like a button now. Just increase some width. Fine. Now just copy the same button, copy the same thing, paste it here, paste it here. Just reduce some size, reduce the. Now keep it here now. Keep it here. Now change the background color to red. Change the background color to red. And then change the text to no. And also let me increase the text size. Let me keep it as 20. Or let me keep it as 18. Here also let me go and keep it as 18. Fine. Now see here guys, on select of this yes button, I want to take the confirmation yes, or if I want to take it as no, keep it as no. So this is the component I'm building here. This is the component I'm creating. Now I want to make this header as a dynamic. If you observe, let me go and open that app, make.powerapps.com. Let me go and open another window. In that window, let me go and open that gallery screen, gallery app. Let me go and open it. If you observe in this, there are two pop-ups with different headers, with different descriptions. Let me show you that one. I want to make the header as dynamic. I want to make this description as a dynamic, and I also make this button on select property dynamic. This button on select property also I want to make it as dynamic. Now how to make it as dynamic? If you go to this app and I play, when I click on the delete button, now see what is the header? Delete record. And what is this description? Are you sure to delete the data? But when I go to this, but when I go another pop-up, but when I go to the another pop-up, let me click on the edit. Here also I'm having another pop-up. Here, what is that pop-up header? It is different, unsaved data, and description is also different. So I want to make it as dynamic. And also on select of this button, if you observe, here I am keeping it as on select of this button. What I'm doing? It is not displaying anything. Now see, on select of this button, what I'm doing? Yes button, gallery navigation. But if you go to the, click on this, yes. But when I go here, yes button, on select of the yes button, I'm writing some other code. What's the code I'm writing here? Remove the data from the gallery. So I want to make the buttons on select property also dynamic. So in order to make it as a dynamic, not to go and make it as a dynamic, what I will do here is I need to go and use some properties. Now tell me, by using what you can make this headers and this description as dynamic. In yesterday's class we discussed In yesterday's class, we created the header. We created the different header names. We changed the header names by using one property here. Now here also I want to change the header of the pop-up, description of the pop-up dynamically. How to change it? Which properties we need to make use of here? In yesterday's class, we discussed about creating the pop-up header. We created the screen, 3 screens. In the gallery screen, I'm keeping it as a gallery header. In the form screen, I'm keeping it as a form header. In the welcome screen, I'm keeping it as a welcome as a header. I'm making it as dynamic. How we make the headers as dynamic like this?
By using custom properties.
With the help of properties called custom properties. Now go to the custom properties on the right side. Go and click on what? New custom property. Now I need to create a custom property for header now. First I need to go and create a header. Click on new custom property and change this display name. The display name I want to keep here is pop-up header. Pop-up header. And then type, what is the type? Input. What is the text? Data type is text data type. And then click on create. Now whenever I create it, now the one property is created, pop-up header. Now once the property is created, now select the header, go to the text property. Currently it is hard-coded pop-up header. Remove this, and then use the component name. What's the component name? Pop-up component. This is the component name. Pop-up header dot. Pass the property name. What's that property we created just now? Pop-up header. Now see, by default is displaying the value as text. So if you want to change this default value, how to change the default values? Select the component, select this one, select this input control. Here it is text, default value is text. You can change it. Let us say I'm keeping it to pop-up header. Just I'm keeping pop-up header. Whether I want to delete or unsaved data, I will change it later. First I'm creating one input control and I am configuring this input control to the text property of this header label. Next I need to go and create another input property for description. So how to create another property? Go and click on new custom properties. Now the display name is pop-up description. Pop-up description is the name. Now the type is input and data type is text only. Now click on create. Now one more pop-up is created. What is this pop-up? Pop-up description. So select the property, select the label, description property label, and go to the text property. Currently I'm hard coding the value. Just remove it. Now use the component name. What's the name of the component? Pop-up component dot pop-up description. Whatever the description I will provide, I will need to keep this. I want to make it as dynamic. Now what's the default value it is keeping? Text. Now if you want to change the default value, go and select this pop-up description. By default that description is text, but I want to change it to pop-up description. I'm changing it to what? Pop-up description. This is one default value. This is the pop-up description and this is the pop-up header I'm keeping. Next I need to go and make this yes button, on select of this yes button, on select of this no button also dynamic. So in order to go and make it as dynamic, this is not an input control. These two are the inputs. This is not an input. This is one action, one of the behavior I need to perform. This is not an inputs. I need to perform some actions here. So that means I want to make this button some behavior, guys. So I need to go and enable one property here, behavioral property. So if you go to the new custom properties, if you go to the property type, there is only two now. One is input, second is output. There is one more property called behavioral property. This behavioral property still is in the preview feature. So how to enable that one means, in order to go and make this buttons as dynamic, I need to have one property called behavioral property. It is not coming to the live, it is a preview feature. So how to make that feature enabled? So if you want to make that feature as enabled, in order to go and make this buttons as dynamic, just go to the settings, in the left side, go to the upcoming features, in this go to the experimental, select the experimental. In this experimental, search for enhance. Here only found one option, enhance component properties, enable this, turn on this, enhance the component properties, click on this button, enable this properties. Once if you enable it, go and click, go and close this one, close this one, save the app, save the app. Now I need to go and create two more controls. One is for on select of this yes button, second one is on select of this no button. So let me go to the new property now. Now see here guys, previously under the property type, under the property types, there is only input and output. Now there is one more option is added here. If you go and see here, there is few more options: data, functions, event, and actions. So let me keep some display name for this. Display name. OK click. So OK on select of this button, OK yes button. OK in place of OK, let me keep here yes button click, or let me yes click. Let me keep it as yes button click. When I select this S button, then what I want to perform. Now property type I'm selecting here is event. In order to go and change the behavior of this button, I'm selecting the event as what? Sorry, I'm selecting the property as what now? Event. When I select the event as a property, automatically it is changing the data type here. When I go to the data types, here I need to select the data type as what? Text is the data type. Select the text as a data type. Here property type is event. Here the data type you need to go and select what? Text. Now go and create it. Now go and click on create. Now one more property is created. Yes button click. Now go to this, select this yes button, select the yes button, go to the on select property. Currently it is false. Now remove it. Take the pop-up name. Pop-up name is component name is what? Pop-up component. Pop-up component dot dot. You will find that property here. Yes button click. Select this one. Yes button click. Now for this, after using this, you need to open the open brackets and close the brackets. Open brackets and then close the brackets. In the same way, I need to go and do the same operation for no button also. In order to go into the for no button, again I need to go and create one more property. Go and click on custom properties. No button click. No button. There is one button, no button. On select of this button. Button click. No button click. On select of this button. And what is the property? Event. And data type is what? Text. Go and create it. One more property is created. No button click. This is the no button. Select the no button. Go to the on select property. Remove it for now and use the component name. What's the component name? Pop-up component. Pop-up component dot. What's the name of that property? On. Where is this? Yes, here it is. On button click. Let me keep here. No button, right? No button. See, this is the property. No button click. Select this one. Now open brackets and close brackets. Now how many input controls I'm creating here is totally 4 input controls. Header, description, these are the normal data. This is the data input controls. These two are behavioral input controls. I want to change the behavior of this button dynamically. So once after creating this properties, go and make this controls as one group. Select all the controls. Select all the controls and make it as one group. Right click and click on group. When I click on group, now see it is going to create one group. So better to go and create this all these controls as one group. Now once after creating it, once after creating this, just 1 second, we're having any borders? No, don't have any borders. Now fine guys. Once after creating this pop-up, let me move up it somewhat. Once after creating this, save it. Don't forget to save it and go to the screens now. Go to the screens. Now on select of this button, on select of this button, what I'm doing here is I'm declaring one variable guess. First of all, let me do one thing. First of all, let me bring that component to the screen. Let me bring that component to the screen. Select the gallery screen. Select the gallery screen. Go to the insert here, or you can go to the insert tab here. Go to the custom you will see a pop-up component name. What's the component name? Pop-up component. Just select it. Whenever I select this, now see, this is the pop-up I am adding. If you go and see here in the gallery screen, I am adding one component. What's that component? Pop-up component. This is the pop component I am adding. Now select the component. Select the component. For now, go to the visible property of this component. Select the component. Go to the visible property. Currently it is true. Let me make it as false. False means I don't want to see this pop-up. I don't want to see this component pop-up. Now what I will do here is go to the on select property, select the gallery, go to this, but select the button. In this button, I'm creating one variable. The variable name is show pop-up. What is the variable name? Show pop-up. I'm making this variable as true. This is into this variable, I'm storing one value. What's the value? True. True means it is a Boolean value, guys. Data type is what? Boolean. So on select, whenever I click on this button, whenever I click on this icon, not a button, whenever I click on this icon, I'm declaring one variable. I want to make this variable as true. So currently this variable is true. When this variable is true, on select of this icon. Now once of declaring the variable, go to the component, select the component, go to the visible property. Here pass that variable name where show pop-up. Show where pop-up. Select this one. Now see, save it, play it. Now on select of this button, on select of this button or icon, it's not displaying. Just 1 second. Variable on select. Okay. Go to this this one. Show pop-up. It is show pop-up, not show where pop. The name of this one is copy show pop-up. The variable name is show pop-up. So go to the component. This is not the variable name. The variable name is what? Show pop-up. Now see, I'm able to view it. Why? Because currently it is true. Currently that this variable is holding value was what? True. Now see, whenever I click on this icon, delete icon, I want to display this header. Now in this pop-up, what is the header I want to keep? What is the header I want to select? The pop-up, go to the header property, pop-up header. Default is pop-up header. I want to change it to what? Let me keep the header as delete record. Let me change the header as delete record. Now see, automatically the header is changed. Delete record is the header. Now what is the description? Go to the description. Go to the description. Remove the default value. Now what I want to keep here? Are you sure? Are you sure to delete the record? Are you sure to delete the record? I want to keep this description. Are you sure to delete the record? Now see, automatically the text is changed. Are you sure to delete the record? Yes. If you want to delete, means go to the yes property. Go to the yes button. Yes button, click. Now see, currently it is text. Some text it is keeping. Now what I will do, just remove it. On select of this button, yes button, I want to remove the data. I want to remove the data from where? From the list called employees. What data I want to remove from this list? Gallery dot selected. What's the gallery name? Gallery 2. Gallery 2 dot selected. Which I am selecting in the gallery, that item details I want to remove. Whatever the item I am selecting in the gallery, when I click on this yes button, that item details I want to remove. Once if you remove, once after removing the data, then I want to make this component as false. I don't want to show this component once if I delete the record. So what I will do again, I'm going to use the set operator, set function. What is the variable we are having? Where show pop-up. Show pop-up is the variable. I'm going to make this variable as false. False means we are not able to see the pop-up component. So on select of this button, go and remove the data, whatever the data you are selecting in the gallery, and then make the pop-up as false. That means make the component as false. Next, there is one more. On button, no button click. No button click. When I select this no button, just I want to make the variable as false. Set show pop-up as false. If you make this variable as false, means we are not able to see this pop-up window. So this is what I'm doing. Previously I'm hard coding it. Now I am making it as dynamic, everything dynamic. Now once after doing this, go and save it. Now see here guys, when I click on the no button, what happens? I'm not able to see the pop-up. When I click on this delete button, unfortunately if I click on delete, if you don't have the pop-up, the record will be deleted. Now when I click on the delete button, now see it is taking the second level confirmation. Delete the record is the header. Are you sure to delete the record? Yes. When I click on yes, the record will be deleted. If I click on no, I'm not going to delete that record. I'm not able to see that pop-up also. If you want to delete it, if you want to delete it means, let us say I want to delete this quad record. Click on delete. Now when I yes, I want to delete this record. Go and click on the S button. Now when I click on the S button, that record will be deleted. Now see, I don't have the squad record. That record will be deleted, and also I'm not able to see the pop-up. Now see, I'm using this pop-up here on which button? On which icon? This icon. I'm using the component, pop-up component for which icon? For delete. Now I need to go and use the same icon, and I need to go and use the not icon, and I need to go and use the same component for one more property. When I go and click on this arrow button, I'm able to display this complete details of this employee. When I click on it, now say I'm able to display the complete details of those employees. Now currently the form is in the view mode. Currently the form is in the view mode. Now when I click on the edit button, now see I'm able to edit it. Now see, if I am changing, if I do any changes here, if I do any changes without saving, if I click on the no button, if I click on the back button, what happens? If I click on the back button, it will navigate to the another screen. What is another screen? It will navigate directly. It will navigate to the previous screen is gallery screen. Now instead of going and navigating to another screen, instead of without saving the but without clicking on save button, if you do any changes, go and save it. Without saving, if you go and click on this back button, I want to display that pop-up component again. Here, go to this button. What I'm doing, if the form has unsaved data, already we discussed these things guys. If the form has unsaved data, set a variable. What is that variable? Show pop-up. Show pop-up is the variable. Set the variable as true. If the form has unsaved data, unsaved means you are not saving the form. You are not saving the form. If the form has unsaved data, then what I am doing, I am declaring one variable. That variable is true. That variable is true. I'm using the if condition here, guys. If the form has unsaved data, then whenever if I click on this back button, I'm declaring one variable, set the variable to true. If the form else condition, if the form is saved, then directly navigate to the gallery screen. Now see, there is some changes in the form. I'm not saving it. I'm not saving the form. I'm not clicking on the save button. Without saving the button, when I click on back button, it will navigate. No doubt it will navigate. Now see, it is not navigating. Okay, why it is not navigating means because there is some variables are declared. So now try to understand guys. Without saving the data, when I click on the back button, it will navigate to the back screen. That means it will go back to the previous screen. I don't want to go back to the previous screen. If the form has unsaved data, unfortunately, if I click on the back button, I need to go and show one pop-up. The form has unsaved data. Do you want to save it, or if you don't want to save it? For this, I want to go and create another pop-up. So in order to go and create another pop, no need to go and create a new pop-up. Guys, go to the form screen, go to the insert, or you can go to insert here also. Go to the custom. You'll see the pop-up here. Select this one. The pop-up is added. Now see, first go and change the header. What is my header? Unsaved data. Unsaved data is the header. Description is what? The form has unsaved data. The form has unsaved data. Let me keep here. The form has unsaved data. Do you want to save it, or do you want to leave? Let us say, do you want to leave? Let me keep here. The form has unsaved data. Do you want to leave the screen? This is the text I'm keeping. It is increasing. Do you want to leave? Let me keep it as leave itself. Do you want to leave the screen? Now see this, I'm changing the header and saying the description. Now go to the property, yes button property. Now what I want to do in the yes button property? Do you want to leave? Yes, I want to leave. I don't want to save the changes. I want to leave the screen. So go and use what? Navigate. Navigate to which screen? Gallery screen. Back screen. Go back to the previous gallery screen. Once after going back to the gallery screen, make this variable as false. That means I don't want to show this pop-up. So go and make that variable, declare one variable, right? That variable I want to make it as false. Show pop-up. Show pop-up. I want to make this variable as false. First navigate to the gallery screen. I don't want to save the data in the form. I want to navigate. Go and navigate and make this variable to false. Next, go to the no button. Now when I click on the no button means now what I'm keeping here header, the form has unsaved data. Do you want to leave? No, I don't want to leave. I want to save it. So on no button, no click, what I want to do, set the variable, set that variable show pop-up to false. Show pop-up to false. Simple. Finish. Now save the app. Go and play. Now see, I'm clicking on the no button. It's not moving. Just 1 second. Set show pop-up to false. No button. Yes button. I think here we are doing the mistake. Just 1 second. Let me go to this icon. Back icon. Everything is fine. Just play. Click on the yes button. Okay. Let me go and edit it again. Just 1 second, guys. Let me select the component. Go to the yes button. Making this variable set false. Why it is not changing? Visible property. Show pop-up only, right? Here it is not changing. Let me go and pass the variable name here also. Here it is another component, right? Separate component I'm using. So go to this visible property. Let me change it to. Let me pass the variable name. What's the variable name? Show pop-up. Now it will work. Now it will work. Now just play. Now the form has no changes. When I click on the back button, it will go back. Now if I click on this arrow mark, it will display the complete data. When I click on the edit button, it will now I am able to edit the data. I'm doing some changes here. I'm doing some changes without saving the form, without clicking on the save button. I'm clicking on the back button. When I click on the back button, now see it is stating that the form has unsaved data. Unsaved data. The form has unsaved data. Do you want to leave? Yes, I want to leave. I don't want to save it. Click on leave. I will go back to the previous screen. Otherwise, if there is any changes you are doing, without saving the save button, without clicking on the save button, when I click on back, do you want to leave the screen? The form has unsaved. You are not saving the form. The updated data is not saved. You want to leave? Yes, I don't want to save it. Click on yes button. Otherwise, no, I don't want to leave the screen. I want to save it. So click on the no button. Now go and save it. Click on save. Now it will go back. It will give this message. The form has submitted successfully. Now go back. Now you can edit it. Now the changes is updated. If you want to edit it, you can go and edit. If doing any changes without saving the button, if you go and click, it will throw us a message. Now see, when I click on the save button, it will automatically save the data and will give the success message. Like this, you can go and create a pop-up component. See, in the previous app, this is another app. This is the gallery app. This is the gallery. Here I'm creating two components separately. One component for delete in the gallery screen. Another component is for in the form screen. In the form screen, I'm creating another component. This is another component for which button? For this button. Two components I'm using. Think that there are 10 screens is there. For all the 10 screens, you need to go and create one pop-up window. Now, to create each pop-up, it is taking 6 controls. To create the 60 pop-ups, 10 pop-ups, how many controls you need to take? 60 controls you need to make use of. But here, if you go with manually, you need to take 60 controls. But if you go and create a component here, if you go and create a component here, if you go to the component, if you go and create a component, how many controls I'm using? Only 6 controls I'm using. I'm going to reuse this controls in multiple screens. In screen 1, in the gallery screen, I'm using it, and also in the form screen, in the edit form, also I'm using the same pop-up. I already shown you how to make the header as dynamic, how to make the description as dynamic, and how to make this yes button, no button also make it as a dynamic. So this is all about how to create a pop-up window without creating manually for all the 10 screens. Go and create one component. Go and create one component. So you can make use of this pop-up component in multiple screens of the. So while creating this, you need to have some strong, if you want to work flexibility with these components means you need to have some strong knowledge on the proper custom properties. These custom properties will plays a major role in order to go and make the pop-up as dynamic. If you don't want to pop up as dynamic, no need to go and use any custom controls or custom properties. No need to go and use any custom property if you don't want to make this component as dynamic. If you don't want to make it as dynamic, no need to go and create any property. Just you can create it here, whatever the design you want, and then go to the screens, you can reuse it. But in every screen, you are able to see the same header, same descriptions. If you want to change it dynamically in different screens, let us say 10 screens is there. In all the 10 screens, we don't keep the same pop-up, same description, same header, right? For delete record, I want to change the header as delete the record. For unsaved data, I'm changing the, for unsaved data, I'm changing it what? Unsaved, form has unsaved data. So if you want to change the text and also the behavioral property of the buttons, you need to go and use this properties case. So these properties will play a major role while working with these components. So this is the way how to create a component or a pop-up component which can be reused in multiple screens. I'm using it in two screens. One is gallery screen, second is form screen. If there is another few more screens is there, you can go and reuse it comfortably, no doubt. Just previously in this gallery, everything I'm hard coding it. Everything I'm hard coding it. If you go to this, when I click on this, when I click on it, everything in the back end I'm hard coding it. This is hard coded. This header is hard coded. Yes button is also hard coded. No button is also hard coded. I am making it everything as dynamic. I'm making everything as dynamic by using what? By using this component custom properties. Custom properties. We can make the components as dynamic. So this is all about how to create a pop-up window by using the components and how to reuse it on the multiple screens. And there is one more example I will discuss, left navigation. If you see in Power Apps also you'll have the left navigation, right? When I click on this tree view, this is the view I am doing. When I click on this plus icon, some of the input controls I'm seeing. If I click on it, it is displaying the another window here, but I want to navigate to one screen to another screen. There is some navigations will be there. Let us say if you want to move to the screen 1 to screen 2, here I am keeping some navigations. Here I am using the button on button navigation property. Instead of this, I need to go and create one left navigation here. Here I will keep some header, and here I will keep some gallery button, form screen button, success screen button. So left navigation, how to create the left navigation, we'll be discussing it in the next class. For this left navigation, it will take more than 1 hour, 1.5 hour time. So I will try to record that video and I will share that video by the end of the next day, guys. Tomorrow I will try to record and I will share the video with you how to create a pop-up left navigation. That not pop-up component, how to create a left navigation using the components. Same thing you can do. If you see, if you go to any app, in all the screens will have the left navigations. All the screens will have the left navigations. Let's say 20 screens is there. For all the 20 screens, if you want to go and create the left navigation, means it is not impossible. It will take a lot of time, but you can create the, you can go and use the components, create the left navigation using the component only once, and reuse it in multiple screens. So regarding this, I will try to record a video and I will share it with you. Let me stop here today.